Welcome back to Orlando Out of Context. I'm Brian.
I'm Stephanie.
And today we have Rosie.
Hey, Rosie.
From Rosie Roaming Orlando.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
We've been trying to get Rosie on for a little while now.
Yeah, it hasn't been a long time coming. It's been a little time coming.
Yeah, a little long.
We built a friendship. We've hung out. We've had meals together.
We've roamed
and now
together.
Here we are.
Yeah, we decided she would be okay.
Yeah.
I made the cut. Yes.
So, welcome Rosie as your first spot on, or your first time as a guest. We call her a guest host.
Yes.
Because I'm sure
fancy.
she'll be back. But welcome Rosie. So tell people, I'm using lots of arm.
I like
boisterous
it.
movements.
We're not recording yet, but that might be in the future. Because some podcasts they record while they're
visually,
filming,
on
or
a
while
camera?
they're recording. What'd you say?
Like visually, they're videotaping.
But
They
Oh, wow.
visually.
who would want to watch that?
Some people do. Just like people watch lots of things on the YouTube.
Huh.
People watch gamers game on YouTube.
That I don't get. I really don't get that. I mean, I respect it
Dude,
because
they make a lot of money.
gaming is. But what are you watching?
But
are you
also-
The
certain
intensity behind the
techniques?
scenes, I think, because they're all into it, and so it's intense.
Yeah. But
This coming from the girl who loves to watch
I was
people
just gonna
crack soap
Well, I was.
and scratch things and
But QVC
Oh, so
too.
you like the
ASMR.
QVC, you're just watching. The reason why I watch QV because it's kind of calming and relaxing.
Yeah.
And
but it's not always that well, I guess yeah.
Rosie,
Just
are you
watching.
a QVC fan?
No.
Oh, we
Okay.
freaking love QVC.
This time of year for me.
We don't even we don't live together, but we'll text each other in the evening oh my god, you see that red wine David's drinking tonight? Oh
Last
my
night-
god, look at the color of that
Wait a minute.
pan.
They sell wine now on QVC?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
they sell
David Venables has
food.
his own wine.
Okay, I might have to start watching QVC then.
QVC during the holidays is really good.
It's
Okay.
the best time.
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
best time. And there's
Gifts, decorations, cookware,
Yeah, it's fun.
food. Oh yeah.
Cookware is right up my alley.
I haven't-
Last night they had these beautiful matte gem tone cast iron pans on.
Huh.
They were beautiful.
So Rosie, tell us a little bit about your Orlando story. Were you born here?
I was. I'm actually a rare breed. I'm an Orlandoan and a Floridian. So there's not many of those around from what
There's
I
not.
hear. I grew up in Winter Springs and then also on the Hunters Creek side of town. I went to Rollins College and got my bachelor's degree there. And then after college, I moved to Boston.
How was Rollins? Did you live on campus or did you live off campus?
No, I lived off campus.
Is there a lot of living on campus at Rollins?
The thing about Rollins is you can't really tell the dorms from the classrooms because all of the buildings look the same.
Okay.
And I did part day school, part night school because I worked full time. So I guess I didn't have the authentic full time day program.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't know. I really don't know.
I'm having a feeling that it's kind of like a commuter school, is my guess.
Yeah, more so than UCF. UCF, you can see the on campus living. Rollins has these off property that, you could walk to campus. It's a 5-minute stroll if that. And they're really nice houses.
Okay.
Or townhomes. So.
Gotcha.
It's
But
not
Rollins
special.
also sits actually in a very rural area where just normal people live.
Well, suburb area.
Yeah, suburb
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, it's
Suburb
right in the
is what
heart
I
of
meant
Winter
to say,
Park,
yes.
which is very nice. So they've got a few dorm buildings, but then a lot of the little houses right around campus are also you can tell that college kids live there.
Always drive by and you see all the Rollins buildings in Winter Park, but I've never
Yeah.
been on the actual campus.
Ooh, then we have to go one day because it's really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks pretty from
It's
the
beautiful.
gates and the outside.
Yeah, I
Sure.
wanted to go there ever since I was a little girl because it was pretty. and then
That's your main
UCF didn't work out, so I ended up at the pretty
UCF
school.
is too big. It's a big
It
campus.
is so big. I couldn't handle it. I was
It's
gotta go.
the second, I think it has the second largest student population of any university
It
in
was
the US.
number 1 for a while.
Was it? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. If it's number 2 now.
And
then
we went to college before Lime bikes existed, so
Oh my gosh. There's so much stuff now that exists that's convenient for college kids that we
Yes.
did not have.
Like we've talked about when we did the college program here, how great it would have been to have Uber and stuff like that.
yes, for drinking.
That would have been
and
a
not
dream.
having to drive.
Right. Because I didn't have a car on my college program with Disney.
I didn't either.
On your first one.
On my first
Yeah,
one.
Yeah.
And even now, my sister has, I think, all or most of her textbooks on an iPad.
Wow.
I don't know if I could handle that.
You know, I remember like when I was going to school in Pennsylvania, I had to carry like, because you know, depending the way your class schedule is, where your dorm is, and like where all your classes are, I had to carry like 80 pounds of books in my backpack just so that I could make it, you know, time wise on foot.
Right.
Yeah, I tried to stay cute and stuff a tote bag and carry some. That was a hot mess.
Yeah.
So what happened after college?
So I decided that I was like over Orlando. Like it had been kind of plain Jane for a while. Mm-hmm. This was like, I felt that way in 2011, 2012, and then 2015 rolled around and I had an opportunity to move to Boston with the company I worked for then, and I decided to take it. And I was there for about a year, and I loved it. I mean, I took my car, so I didn't not have a car because you could go there and like live in the city without a car, but I couldn't do that. Plus, it was a bonus having it because I could go to the different states around. Yeah,
England, right?
Yeah, I got to roam up there. And
Rosie roaming Boston.
If only I had stayed there, that may have been a thing. Who knows? But their food scene was huge, and like the life up there was culture, like a lot of culture. From the events to just the people in the city. Like, everyone is always afraid of New England, but I didn't have any trouble with the people. Like, they were all actually really cool.
They're very, very abrasive people.
They seem like, that way.
Rough but loving, you know?
Yes, I would agree with you on that. Yeah. But I lived in Somerville, which was kind of like a hipster town. That was, like, the first time I was ever introduced to, like, hipster. I think that was like 2015.
That was the like, beginning of hipster.
I think it was the beginning, and it was really cool to live in a little city where like you could walk to everything. People were nice. Like you had like the local Indian like restaurant on the corner that was always good. And then if I wanted to go into the city, I could take the T, and I was there in like 10 minutes and just walk all day, and it was really fun.
How's their public transportation in Boston? Is it good?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I took that more than Uber. Like I took Uber if like it was going to be very far, like further into the city, like Back Bay, which was like on the end. Mm-hmm. But I would take the T everywhere.
So what happened? What made you come? Did you come back here after Boston?
Yes, I moved back home. I was there for just about a little bit over a year. I decided around June that I was like, okay, this girl doesn't like snow. Winter's coming up. I've got to turn around and go home.
But you had at least one winter, right?
Yes, yeah. I experienced
winter.
One was enough, yeah. Like the first snowfall, sitting in my apartment, watching it fall down, like
beautiful.
Drinking hot cocoa was like really cool till I had
magical.
It was magical till I had to wake up the next morning, shovel it out of the driveway, clean my car off, and wear boots till May. Yeah, I was like, I can't do this again. And then I came home, yeah, and that's
So did you miss Orlando while you were gone?
Oh my God, I missed Orlando so much because I feel like the moment I landed in Boston, Instagram, like the food scene here kind of blew up in 2015, and I was like, oh my God, I'm missing all these things that are happening. And I was like, I would visit home and I'd go to like new places, and I was like, okay, I gotta make a U-turn and like go home.
Right.
So, because I missed it. And then unfortunately an event like Pulse happened, and seeing all the love flow from the city from afar, like it made me so homesick.
Right.
It made me so homesick. I was like, I gotta get back there.
Yeah. That's a nice story. Well, you know, Stephanie, you haven't really left, but I've left twice and come back. And I wouldn't say that I was always relatively happy in the spaces where I was. I was in Oklahoma for 3 years, and that was like, I didn't really put much effort into Oklahoma. I went there to go to school. So, yeah, I missed it. And I lived in Brazil for a year, and so, yeah, I missed it. That's cool. But I always came back, you know, and there's a reason why I come back, because I like Orlando. I think it's a great hub to travel from. I think that, well, we'll talk more. We have some of that coming up because, but I get it. Like,
the reason I was like, really? Was because when you grow up somewhere, it's a lot different than, you know, this isn't the place we grew up.
I get what you're saying,
like,
too.
If I'm in my mind just flipping her story to mine, like, I came to Orlando leaving my Orlando.
Which was?
You know what I'm saying? Which was a small town called Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania.
And rural. That's rural.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rural. Which, you know, of course I miss at times, but it for me, it's okay. I take a little bit of time, visit,
but I get what you're saying.
See my family, and then I have to come back here.
Because at the end of the day, I'm happy not to be in my hometown and running into people that I don't want to see anymore.
Oh my gosh, have you seen that really cute meme? I saw it and then you posted it.
it.
It's like some French rolls and it's like a cat that's the same color, and it's like when you're in the grocery store and you see someone from high school and then the cat's like,
oh my god, that's so me. It's
blending
kind of
in with the rolls.
Like, pivot.
So, it's just nice to be in a new place and build a new life and have like a new identity and like just like a fresh start.
Yeah, I get it.
And
So you came back to Orlando.
Yes.
And then that was not too long. Well, it's already almost 2020. So that's like it's
3 years ago-ish.
3 years ago-ish.
Yeah, I came back in 2016.
So when did you start Rosie Roaming Orlando, the Instagram account?
I started it in June of 2017.
Okay.
Wait, what's this year? 2018. I was like, what year?
So it's been like a year and a few months.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you want? Well, obviously you kind of already revealed. So you saw in Boston the scene here in Orlando was kind of jumping.
Yeah.
So how soon after you moving back from Boston did you start Rosie Roaming?
Took me 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've always gone around town and like I used to post on my personal like. I was at Lake Eola and I went to this restaurant.
When she roams, I'm telling you, she roams.
She does roam.
Sometimes I'm gonna get exhausted flipping through her Instagram story.
I literally have no plans this weekend, and I'm like, if I can just not have to leave the house, maybe roam to like one thing, I will be so happy. But that's probably not gonna happen.
Why don't you roam to Boxy Park? You
I
said you haven't been there yet.
We want to go. We haven't
like
been
5
either.
minutes from
I was
my
going
house.
to say, you need to just roam to Boxy Park and call it a weekend.
I can accept that because it's cold now, and
That's exactly. We've been waiting for the cold weather to go to Boxy Park.
I've been avoiding all outdoor.
You don't want to go?
Oh, I want to go, but I won't be here this weekend. But if you and Rosie,
I'm off on Saturday, so if you want to go, I'm up.
We could plan something.
So you started about a year and a half ago, and you just wanted to share your roaming adventures.
Yeah, I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it since Instagram came about, like 2012, 2011. And it was like, I don't know, it wasn't really functional like it is now. Like it wasn't a marketing platform and whatnot. And I was like...
It was more artistic back in the
day.
Yes.
Yeah, and it had like all these filters that were not as crazy as they are now.
When I go back all the way to like my first post, it's like, remember you used to put the borders and the filters?
The borders,
and
yes.
It would be like a picture of just one thing, like a cup or a drink or...
Trying to be artistic.
Yeah.
And I totally wasn't back then. But I used to blast everything on my personal, and it just wasn't a thing like it is now. Like I can't stand this word, influencer or being a foodie. And so I decided, I take that back. I didn't decide. One of my good girlfriends, Sarah, was like, you need to do this again. Like, this is now a thing. This is your time. And, like, bring it back to life. So we're sitting at Domu, funny enough. And
did you see the picture Domu posted today of the interior of the Dr. Phillips?
Oh, my God.
Oh,
so pretty.
We want to go.
It's gorgeous.
So they put hashtag Black Friday, but didn't announce a date.
Black Friday.
I'm guessing.
That's what I was thinking.
I did sign up for their emails.
How genius is that?
That was pretty
We're going to
genius.
open on Black Friday while everyone is out shopping? Of course. And everyone's off, too, pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
Except for me.
Sorry.
So we're sitting at Domu, we're eating and drinking, and I looked at her and I was like, Rosie Roaming Orlando. And she was like, that's genius. And then it was like, that was it. And I started doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So... now you're moving on into something else besides just an Instagram account, correct?
Yes. So kind of like an add-on. Another hobby, I guess you could call it, that I've always loved is cooking. I grew up in the kitchen with my family, and
Rosie roaming the kitchen.
Well, in this kitchen here, you couldn't be roaming too far.
Yeah, but like roaming.
I hope you have a bigger kitchen.
Like figuratively, like roaming through
the pantry to the fridge,
roaming through the cookbook to find the recipe.
You know what I like?
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing stories while you're cooking? When I was growing up, my grandma used to love watching cooking shows. Like, what's that old lady with the? She had like a funny voice
on PBS.
Julia Child. You could bring that back,
I could. I've thought about it. It requires like patience.
Yeah.
And I'm working on that still.
Okay, so
it's a work in progress.
You're starting the blog.
Yes.
You don't have recipes up yet.
No,
right?
my first one's going to go up in a few days.
Okay, I'm on the email list waiting for
awesome.
the first email.
I'm not on the email list because I hate spam.
I get it.
I'll figure it out.
But
I'll figure it out.
Wow. I'm just kidding.
Well, I know I'm gonna figure out through your email, through your Instagram. So I don't need an email. I don't need one more email to delete.
What if the algorithm is down and you don't see it for 2 weeks?
That's true.
I won't. Trust me.
That's funny.
Okay.
Well, good luck with that.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited. Well, I saw
too.
the pumpkin. There was like a pumpkin.
Yeah, I want
bunt.
that.
Pumpkin caramel something, right?
Yes,
what is it?
I made a pumpkin bundt cake, and then I did a butterscotch ganache.
It looked
ganache.
Yeah.
So it wasn't caramel. It was butterscotch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looked delicious.
It was really good.
And you were supposed to bring us cookies tonight.
Oh, and I miscounted, but I'll just make you a batch to make.
I saw those cookies on someone else's Instagram. I'm not gonna say who is eating our cookies right now, but I hope you enjoy them.
She did.
She did. They looked good. They looked very like a good bake. You know, they looked kind of like perfect bake.
This is the perfect season for cookies. You know,
it is cookie season. Don't worry, I'm gonna be doing Christmas
because cookies aren't. Especially cookies aren't always easy.
My favorite cookies are Chloe's cookies.
Yes, the sugar cookies, nutmeg sugar cookies. Oh, those are good.
That sounds good.
But yeah, cookies, they can come out of the oven looking.
Yeah.
But yours looked very good.
Thank you.
And the bundt cake looked good too.
Thank you.
So, are you gonna cook only sweets? Or are you gonna do a mix?
So I'm gonna do a mix. The way that I kind of brainstormed and gathered my thoughts on how I want it to flow is I want to incorporate the foods that I grew up with and the flavors that I grew up with, along with baking, just your traditional things, and trying to brainstorm creative combinations.
Okay, so what
is your background, your ethnicity background?
I'm American born, but my parents are from Lebanon.
Both
Lebanon.
Parents.
Well, they're Lebanese and half Palestinian, so I'm kind of like a mix.
Okay.
But American born.
But you're very
foreign.
Just kidding.
So special food, there's like
Lebanese
cultural food that you are really good at making. Okay.
Yeah, so the first thing that I actually created and it came out really well was I made a za'atar scone, and za'atar is a bunch of herbs and spices, but I put it into a scone and it was really good.
That sounds good. Well, I'm excited to see your blog come to life. I think that's a great aspect to have in addition to the Instagram. So.
Yeah. Well, you don't own Instagram, and then people say it all the time. They could take it down and it's gone, but your blog is yours. So.
I never thought of that. That's a real good...
Well,
so guys,
the amount of work we put into our Instagram, it's like,
right.
God.
It could go any day.
Yeah.
Yep. Or they could change the algorithm. So, likes are going to go away.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So, you'll be able to still like, but you won't be able to, people won't be able to see the count of likes that are coming in.
Yeah.
So
I'm so game for that. I think it's good for the mental health.
Brazil is already seeing that.
Really?
So Brazil already has that implemented for most Brazilian users on Instagram. They don't see, as they're going through the posts, they don't see how many likes each post has. So they can like it. Yeah. They just don't get to see. Now the person
receiving the likes.
Receiving it, like on our account, we could see how many people liked our posts, but the people who are scrolling through the feed won't be able to see.
So where does the benefit come in? Because the user is still getting that high from the, oh my God, I got 20, 50, 30.
It's just not this race for, in my opinion, it's not a race. I don't know what the actual reasonings from Instagram is, but
I think they say mental health, but they're also about the platform generating money for other, like using it as a marketing tool, and they're not benefiting.
I'm tired of getting.
I could be wrong though.
Raped by ads, especially for Disney Plus. I'm gonna get it. I got it already. I have it, and I'm still getting ads. I'm signed up, and you know that because you look at everything that I do. Even before I put it on the keyboard, you know what's going on in my mind.
You talk about it, and they hear you. I'm just kidding.
Exactly.
The reason why, I'm sure, is because you follow all the Disney accounts.
Yeah.
That's probably
which is
algorithm.
Why you shouldn't be marketing with me, because I'm already a shoe in. You need to push to the people who don't have Disney interests.
So, let's dive into the rest of the episode. The rest of the episode, we kind of put messages out to, Rosie did for hers and we did on ours, for people to comment, bring us topics for us to discuss. We have a couple voicemails to listen to, so we'll listen to those towards the end. But first, we're going to get through the comments or the suggestions that came in to us from our listeners and social media.
Can we emphasize how that voicemail should be used often? Because you don't actually talk to a person.
Thank you.
So guys, call the voicemail hotline.
Thanks, Rosie.
Leave a voicemail.
Listen, we didn't prep her to say that, but she knows we've been trying to get people to call in. So that voicemail, because this is not just for today's episode.
We would like to do this possibly if we had enough. Every episode, like a couple comments an episode or one episode a month, possibly. I don't know, some sort of format where, because that's kind of one of the goals that we had of the podcast was kind of to make community and bring people together and, enjoy our equal love-hate relationship with Orlando.
Right. So even if you if you're with an organization, we've had a few marathons come to us and say, will you market our marathon for us? They didn't pay us, which is fine because they were nonprofits. But if you're a nonprofit and you have an event coming up, or you're a business and you have something coming up, you could call the hotline and just let us know about when your event is, and then we can play that on the air. And it's just a voicemail. You're not going to talk to anybody. So feel free to call in, give us your pro tips, your questions, comments, and anything that's happening in the community that you want our listeners to be aware of. So, anything. I mean, we will.
We'll entertain anything at this point.
The number is 407-603-6994. So give that number a call. It goes straight to a voicemail greeting, and then once it beeps,
Did you make a voicemail for us?
Yeah.
Okay. I should call it.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's
You haven't called it?
I haven't either. But you guys should call. Don't let that deter you guys from calling.
So, Rosie, you can share with people that they should call.
I can do that.
When you're roaming around. Thanks for the plug, Rosie.
Anytime.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but
I had to.
All right. So I have questions that came from Rosie's Instagram. So Rosie shared some things that came in through me. And so Faye's POV at FAYES POV. This is one of your friends, right?
Yes.
I like this. This is something that kind of meant to spark discussion.
Yeah.
So she says, Orlando is the city beautiful because it is beautiful. Let's face it. From the lakes to downtown to I-4. JK is what she says. JK. To the tourism capital. But how do Orlando residents make it beautiful? Even before Pulse, what has always made our city so attractive on a human level? Which I think this is a great question.
Ooh, it's loaded but good.
Yeah, it's loaded. So who wants to go first?
I think that Orlando is like a huge melting pot. Mm-hmm. Okay, so from my point of view, everyone that I've met, it's like all these people that are escaping from their little towns elsewhere. Like, it's everyone from the rest of the country, like, coming here to, like, have a fresh start, have a new life. They move here for Disney. And then we also have, like, a lot of people coming from, like, Puerto Rico, the Dominican, Cuba, like, people moving here, Miami, like, you know, just a lot of people. There's a lot of culture here. You know, before I moved here, I didn't really know anything about anybody other than white people who spoke English.
Right.
So, it's true.
Beaver Falls, Beaver County.
It's a true story, man. So, you know, there's all these places, different restaurants where, you know, different ethnicities, you know, different bakeries, different kinds of food that I never ate, never saw, never knew anything about. And I think that's, you know, what makes it very unique.
I would agree with you. Let's see. Before and after Pulse. I think for me, Pulse was that touching point that I was like, I saw the love flow from the city. And unfortunately, a terrible situation to bring everyone together. But before that, we have our tourists, and we're a melting pot. I think Orlando is like it's a welcoming point base for everyone to get here and, you know, and whatnot, transient as they call it. But people are now more welcoming. When you're out at events, you're out at restaurants, I don't think we had that prior to Pulse, unfortunately.
Gotcha.
Except if you're on I-4. No one's nice on I-4, and everyone needs to chill out on I-4.
Well, I-4 will come up several times throughout this podcast.
I drive.
That was one thing I think everyone put some input in. That was one thing we all agreed on.
You know what I think is? I was
Don't
thinking.
Get me started.
I was thinking today that wouldn't it be interesting? Because we went to an I-4 event. We went to an I-4 Beyond event. Like, I know, so random.
It's full of old people and us.
But a postcard came to the house, and I was like, "Oh, why not? Let's just go to this because I care about I-4. I mean, I want to see I-4.
We're gonna get some updates.
I want to know what's happening on I-4, so we went. But I was thinking today, wouldn't it be interesting to get an interview with somebody on the I-4 Beyond project, just to like. Understand. Like, help.
I don't even think they know.
Help me understand why there's no lanes to pull over if your tire blows.
And help me understand why it's not even midnight yet, and I can't even, from downtown, I can't even get onto the interstate, and it's not even midnight. Why can't I get on the interstate?
The other day there was a piece of wood, like, I don't know, like 1.5 feet, just right in the middle of the road.
Oh, my Lord.
Well, one time I ran over something on I-4, and it did. This was on my old car, and it did some, like it blew my tire out, and the sheriff, after it's not AAA, it's the State Farm people that are on I-4.
The road rangers.
Yeah, the road ranger came, and they were great, and the sheriff came, and she was great, and she was telling me that they really like. They try to, if there's a truck with like loose stuff in their back bed, like especially the bigger trucks, I saw
that the other day.
They try to pull them over because they cause a lot of the hazards with things flying out, and it causes hazard. And that's exactly what happened to me because I wasn't texting. It just, the crate or whatever just came out of nowhere, and I went right over it.
There was a dude with a garbage can in the back of the bed of his truck, and it's just swaying, and I was like, nope.
Oh God, and then gonna fly through your window.
Like, nope.
What is that movie with the
Final Destination?
Yeah, Final Destination.
I was like, nope. And then I was coming back from Tampa a couple weekends ago. I didn't see this happen, but this dude's ladder fell off his truck, and then about a mile up there was another car stopped, and I'm wondering if they were, oh God, I can't.
If they were related, the incident was like, oh my gosh. So my response to this is similar to Stephanie's, but I take it kind of to an international thing. I like that. Well, you did international too, but like I met really great friends here that I would have never met. Otherwise, and through all over the world. So
I think all my best actually, I would say pretty much all of my best friends, except for a few, I've met here. All of them.
Yeah.
And even if they don't live here anymore, we still stay close, Yeah.
So, yeah, for Stephanie and I think it's the opportunity to see kind of a melting pot. Even though I grew up in California, I grew up in definitely, like, white suburb.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really have exposure to that, to a lot of diversity. And so I think we're extremely diverse. I think also this is something that I don't know if we spoke on the record about it with Joey and Alex, but you'll have to refresh me if we did or didn't, but I don't think they would mind me sharing this. I think we talked about this with him, or it was somebody else, is that, like, for a restaurant opening, you're not going to get the scrutiny that you would get, say, like in New York or in Los Angeles, in terms of the people.
I think they're more abrasive.
People are more supportive,
uplifting.
Here.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, let a 5-star critic come in and tear your ass up and
well,
put you down and degrade.
Did we talk about that with them? I talked about it with somebody.
I think we did. I think we did talk about it on the podcast, but it's good to re-mention it here. And this, looking at Instagram, everyone's pretty much really supportive and uplifting of all businesses. All new. I saw something, a Beefy King or something caught fire, and a bunch of people had posted like, "Oh, make sure when they reopen, you go back and support them." A couple accounts I saw.
Yeah.
So
well, to Faye's point of how do Orlando residents make it beautiful, it's just continuing to be kind.
Yes.
And if you are say you're at a restaurant and something isn't perfect, don't blast them on social media. Just say, hey, I just want to give you guys this feedback,
feedback
versus being so harsh.
Yeah, I think that we're relatively we're pretty kind
I'm
here.
not sure on I-4.
Yeah,
sorry, it's going to keep going back to that.
We will. This is not the only time we're going to be talking about it, because it comes up again. Rosie's sister chimed in
my
as
sister
well.
Lila.
So, and it's, how do you pronounce your sister's name?
Lila.
She has 3 little topics. Now, listen, Lila. Your topics we could talk about.
They're pretty broad.
We could talk about for a long time. So the first one is the evolution of the theme parks.
I think, quite frankly, it's out of hand. Just looking at the... Oh, I'm sorry to go first again.
You can go first.
Oh, no, it's okay.
But, especially I'm going to start with Disney. They recently expanded one of their parks with 2 lands that nobody gives 2 shits about. And so now we have all this construction that they did to make the parking structures bigger. They made the little sky ride. System. I mean, all these things, and still nobody cares to visit these parts of the park.
Which parts?
Studios
with Toy Story Land and Star Wars.
In there? I thought that was a huge.
Yeah, but thing. Star Wars is really not doing what they thought it was going to do. We could. That's a whole other topic. We're going to keep these topics short.
They've now built 3 or 4 new hotels just in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Which I think was part of this project to support all these new parts.
And it's not.
And it's just not producing.
Well, do you think it has to do with them increasing the price? Didn't it
I
just
think
go
the
up?
price it goes along with paying for all the things they built.
I think that they at the end of the day, they've probably realized at this point they can't raise the price anymore, because I think that they're seeing attendance
decline
being affected by the raise of, because it has to do with the rising of the price, the raise of the price.
The increase?
The increase.
The rise and the run is not you can only go so forward before you go up and forward and up. So
I'll speak. I don't want to stay on this because this is lots of. We could go into many minutes of talking about this. But the other thing that I'll be interested to see and witness is the expansion of Universal, because they have announced their 3rd park.
They're going to town over there on that property. I pass it every day on my way to work.
And that 3rd park is kind of detached from the main property of Universal, so it'll be interesting to see how they do the transportation to and from the original 2 parks to this new 3rd park. So
I'm interested in what it's like to go to the parks now, because I don't go often anymore, because I'm a Disney fan, but I also like Universal, but more of a Disney gal, and I have memories and pictures from when I was a little baby, and we would go quite often. But is it still a good time now, even though those theme parks are flooded with people? Do the fast passes still allow to create those memories in the parks? Because in my pictures that we have, even when we were little kids, parks were not that flooded.
They're much more crowded now than
when we were
people.
Were you going during the time of right after 9/11, the crowds just
plummeted?
Tanked.
Yeah, I didn't go after that for a little bit.
But early on, in the 80s and the 90s,
it wasn't as bad.
90s,
it was not as bad, because
yeah.
people didn't spend money like they do now.
Disneyland wasn't, because I grew up going to Disneyland. Disneyland wasn't, but to me, Disneyland still isn't bad. Disneyland,
I hear it's less crowded.
It's crowded, but the people know what they're doing, because they're all pretty much pass holders, so they're pros and they know what they're doing, and there's less BS there.
The problem with the fast passes is that the new system is, if you're staying at a Disney resort, you get first choice at the fast passes.
Oh, wow.
90 days prior to your vacation.
Oh my gosh.
So basically, by the time we get to anything, there's nothing good left. All the good things are gone.
Yeah, so as an annual pass holder, we have a month?
60 days or 30.
I think it's 30.
Yeah,
it's 30 days. So as an annual pass holder, you have 30 days.
And you go on the app and do it?
Correct.
Okay.
And you can pick for that. You can pick fast passes for every day. It just needs to be 30 days out from the time that you're going to be visiting.
And you can only choose from 3 at a time from one park.
Okay.
So if you're park hopping, you can't take 2 and 1.
But it also is nice because I can go in because normally the way I go in is I don't go in to ride rides if I'm going in like solo or with somebody else. It's to eat.
Yeah.
And then if we happen to catch a ride, that's great, but that's not like my main goal as an annual pass holder.
Yeah.
So
you have the flexibility. You can go
anyway, but thank you for that topic. The
she
second
also
topic,
said the I-4 construction, but we all know that story.
And she also mentioned Disney buying more land. How do you pronounce your sister's name again?
Lila.
I just don't want to say Lila the way.
I know.
Sorry,
Traditionally
Lila.
it's Layla, but she will correct you.
Lila,
it's Lila.
Lila, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. All right. She said Disney buying more land. So they did buy more land in Osceola County. My guess for that.
We read though that it was for.
They're not going to build on that land. They just buy that land so that they can expand on the current land because they have to have a certain ratio of wetlands to preserve the wetlands. Okay. I believe if I'm wrong about that, y'all can scream at me.
You can call the hotline, correct?
Yeah, leave a voicemail.
Leave a voicemail. But they're not going to build on that land, but that just gives them room to build in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're probably buying that land now because they're like, oh, this is a great price. If we wait to buy it, it's going to be more expensive down the road.
Or somebody else will buy it and then put you in a gridlock, like.
And then you have to pay more to buy them out.
Yeah. So, and then I-4 construction, Layla. Gosh. Lila.
You know what? I have one thing to say. Well, one of many things, but I'll say this right now about I-4 construction.
I thought you were going to give me a hard time about Lila.
I don't understand why people drive like it's Fast and the Furious. One, it's not a movie. No one is paying you to drive like this. Two, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Please drive safe.
Especially the way it is. Like, it's like not straight anymore. It's like bends
it's like
and
Mario
hills.
Kart, but instead of bananas, you got
poor
wood in the
Rosie
road.
over here. You're on I-4 every day.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm on I-4 every day, but I'm not affected by the traffic or the construction right now.
I'm on I-4 pretty much every day.
But you're both, both on I-4. But you're like, you don't have to drive I-4 as much, right?
I'm like Turnpike all the way out to the other side of town.
You're like sitting behind the wheel every day.
Yeah.
That can be stressful, kind of.
Yeah.
Sometimes, right?
Sometimes.
And you just feel every bump and turn in the road. Thank you, Lila, for your questions.
There you go.
See, look.
It worked.
Tell your sister I'm so... Well, she's going to listen to this, right?
Probably, yeah.
She
Probably.
Will. She better. Because she's, like, got a whole segment.
Yeah.
Where does she live?
In Houston.
What does she do in Houston?
Stuff.
Oh, okay. Ooh, top secret. Oh, whoops. Top secret or sore subject. Okay. So, from our Instagram account, we actually posed 3 different questions, and so let's go through them. So, what do you love about Orlando? Bridget Cood. Let's just say Bridget. But if you want to follow Bridget, it's at BridgetteCude. Bridget. Hey, Bridget. Nobody else is gonna say hi, Bridget?
Hey, girl.
She
says people are a lot less pretentious here than they are in other big cities.
And that's what she says she loves about Orlando. So we already kind of talked about this.
I have to agree. I've been to a lot of cities, and there are some pretentious assholes out there. Some beanie wearing, coffee slinging, Tom's wearing. Yes.
Bougie.
We have those, but I think overall we're not pretentious people.
Yeah, I think we have a good balance of non-pretentious to the little population that you could call pretentious.
Yeah. What do you hate about Orlando? So, keeping tabs.
Hey, girl. This is one of my old coworkers who's a fan of the show.
Coworker.
Hey, keeping tabs. Coworker. What's keeping tabs' name?
Her name is Tabitha.
Oh, clever.
Like it.
So she only shared what she hated about Orlando. So Tabitha,
you're gonna have to find out if she loves anything about.
Does
Orlando.
she live here anymore?
Yes, she lives here.
Okay.
So she just hates it.
She comments a lot on our stuff. She really enjoys the podcast.
She listens.
She listens.
Okay, another fan. Woo.
Yeah,
another listener.
Nice.
She says terrible roads. Forever under construction. Well, that's something that we really haven't said, the length of construction. So
I don't even remember when the I-4 project started.
2015, 16.
Oh my God, it's just been so long ago.
But from day one that I've lived here, or not day one that I've lived here, but from the moment I've been driving Interlift for 10 plus years, there's always been some kind of I-4 construction.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So yes, forever under construction. She said traffic, basically the same thing. And then this is something we haven't talked about, rising rent prices.
This I don't understand. Because they're building a new apartment building every other day. They just keep building and building and building. So at some point...
People are paying, though, I guess.
They are. So not only are they building apartments everywhere, but the other lovely road that I drive quite often, 417, I feel like I've blinked and there's now... townhomes.
There's a whole apartment building across the street from the Ritz now.
Yes.
I drove past one day, nothing there. 3 days later, bam, whole building.
Wow.
That corner across from the Walgreens and the Wawa.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah,
whole complex built.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's just wood, but still.
I wonder where all the jobs are.
Yes. Where are the jobs? Where are these people?
Or is it like old money and they're just here because they don't like the snow anymore?
No.
It's gotta be. It can't be that.
It's jobs. It's jobs. But there's 1,000 new people that are moving here each day.
We're full.
1,000 people?
1,000 each day. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're not economists, so I can't answer all of these questions.
Yeah,
but
that's full. As far
obviously, the rising rent prices have to do with the amount of people that are coming and that are willing to pay to be here. So, and I don't think there's any end to it.
We need to go on strike.
So under What Do You Hate About Orlando, Bridget also commented as well for this, and she said, it shouldn't be so expensive to live here. And this is something I don't agree with. She says groceries are insane.
They're
I don't
not.
think groceries are insane.
So when I lived in Boston, so this is like a weird comparison to the prices here, but mayonnaise is like $2 more or $3 more for the same size jar you'd buy here.
I think the only thing here that I don't necessarily agree with...
It depends where you go shopping, though, because everything in Publix is about $1 or more, as opposed to Target or Walmart.
But there are certain things...
I think Walmart's expensive now. I don't think Walmart's cheap anymore.
There's certain things that you can get on Publix that are cheaper than Target, and then some things are cheaper at Walmart, and then when you're at Walmart, some things might be cheaper at Publix. So, like
it's like this game.
My grandmother, she would shop at all the different stores and just, because, where we grew up, there was maybe like 3 different brands of grocery stores all within a 5-minute drive. So she would just go hit them all up and figure out which is the cheapest. But it's the same here. I mean, there's certain things that are cheaper at one that aren't at the other. But I think
it is expensive to live here, going back to what's happened to said about the rent prices. I would agree there.
I think the rent
for the city that we live in, like, Boston, I'm sure, is very expensive. New York, cities like that, I get that being expensive. I think we're just
as expensive as those cities now.
But Orlando, you don't deserve those prices that we're paying.
But Bridget, for your groceries, go to Trader Joe's because everything there is cheaper than any other grocery store, and the wine is a huge deal if you love wine.
It's for your wine drinker, for sure.
That $2 Chuck, which is
no, don't buy that stuff. Buy actually like the $6 wine because it's really good. Not the.
I have to say that over the last, 6 years, ever since that first Trader Joe's opened in Winter Park, the grocery store game has improved. So, we always had Publix, which was all right.
Do you like Lucky's Market?
It's okay.
But we got the addition of Trader Joe's, and then we have the addition of, Whole Foods has been here, but now it's even more accessible with Amazon owning it. Yeah. And now you can have it delivered to your house, which is great, having Whole Foods delivered to the house if you need it. And now we have Lucky's, which has really kind of grown.
There's Lucky's that came into town in the past year, Sprouts and Earth Fare.
Yes. I think Earth Fare, is that the... Earth Fare is the one in
Soto?
They
have big one downtown. Soto, and then they have one out in Lake Nona.
That's what we passed.
So I can't say that I like or I don't like Lucky's because I haven't spent enough time in there. I think because I'm always fast and I know if I go into Publix, Whole Foods, or Trader Joe's, I know what I'm going in for and I'm out.
Lucky's is definitely a place you could explore for a little bit.
Lucky's gives me...
a little bit of anxiety?
No. Because it's not... The one here is dead.
Okay, so that's nice.
Because we don't have the amount of people living in this immediate area to support it yet, but there will be as they build more homes and stuff. There will be the people to support it, and when we get Target, I mean, everyone's going to be seeing Lucky's and know that it's there.
Target, come to Lake Nona, please.
Wow, I'm surprised that
we don't have one yet.
Yeah,
eventually, give it time.
Oh, it will. But yeah, overall, I don't feel like this is an expensive place to live except for rent. Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, even Disney, like you can get an annual pass, you pay the deposit, and then depending on, the pass that you get, it's, $30 to $45 a month, which is not crazy to put that into your budget. So I don't think this is the most expensive place to live. I do think that for where we are and the pay scale here, the rent prices are ridiculous.
They're ridiculous.
All right. So for our Instagram, we shouted out to everyone, what is your best pro tip? And Bridget is the only one that participated on this all the way through. So Bridget, you get a gold star. So she says, follow lots of local vendors on Instagram. It makes this town a lot smaller. So I think what she means there is like
brings in the community.
Follow restaurants, grocery stores, shops, different things, so that you kind of have a pulse on the city. And I agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree with her as well.
And you should also be following Rosie Roams Orlando and Orlando Out of Context on the Instagram.
Yes.
I second that.
Most definitely. I would have to agree. Like, we were talking about your experience of when you started roaming and all that. I believe in that time in my life, I was still stuck in a Disney bubble. Mm-hmm. But now, like in the past couple years, I have been moving my life more towards, now that I've been doing this podcast, there's like a whole new world out there of stuff I never knew existed in Orlando. Mm-hmm. Like a whole different bubble, and it's good to see that side of things.
Yeah. You definitely have to, any city that you're in, you need to follow. And I've been doing it when I'm traveling too. Like if I'm going to travel to a location, like start following somebody like who has a really good account in Washington DC. If you're going to go to Washington DC, or if you're going to New Orleans, follow someone who has a really good account in New Orleans. So that way you kind of get the feel for, that looks good, I want to go here. So you don't walk in blind. Well, it could be the same for your own community. You should be following those accounts if you care about that. So, yay.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to the final portion, which is...
It sounded so serious. The final
portion of the game show.
So we're
going to listen to some voicemails.
Yes. So what I'm going to do here...
Yay, voicemails.
I'm probably going to play and then pause, because there's some... each one has kind of segments. Yeah. So...
so good that she fixed that ticket. I'm so worried about that all day today.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yep.
Listen up. This one's a little bit hard to hear.
Hi, we're Kip and Becky from Epic Thompson Life.
Hello.
And we weren't really sure what to say, but we were going to talk about what we love about Orlando and then the very few things we dislike about Orlando, but we live in Missouri right now.
We'll do the dislike first. We don't live there yet.
Yeah.
Nice.
And in traffic.
The I-4.
Oh, the I-4.
The I-4.
And all of the road construction associated with that. But mostly, so we live in Missouri. We get snow and ice. We hate it. That would be our biggest love of Orlando, is there's no snow or ice, and it's always warm. We love that. We love warm.
Then we like the fact that because it's always warm, you can go outside and do activities a lot.
Yeah. Theme parks, of course, but just nature
Farmers
in general.
Restaurants, hiking on the trails, going to the parks.
Yeah.
And you're only an hour and a half either direction from a beach.
Yeah.
And manatees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of nature-y.
Yep.
Kind of.
Yep.
I don't know. What else?
And no state income tax.
No state income tax.
All right. So Thank you, Kip and Becky, for your call.
That was really awesome.
We love hearing from you because we know you've been listening from almost day one.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I love how these people don't even live here yet, and the very first thing that they touch on is how bad I-4 is. They don't even live here.
We must be on like the national news or something for like really bad rates of something. I don't know what, but
I love how they also mentioned that they're excited to not pay state income tax when they move here.
Yeah, that sucks.
Because that is something that I think we don't really think about that much.
That is a good thing about here because the tourists are paying all of our taxes. Where were you going to say something, Rosie?
When I lived in Boston, I had to pay not just the state income tax, but like you pay property tax, and I had to pay on my vehicle per year. So it's like a weird rate or number they come up with based on
like
because I own my car.
Property.
Yeah. So it's like an additional tax.
That's shitty.
Yeah, it was.
Well, isn't it? Don't you have to have like certain tests in PA or something?
Yeah, you have to
same
get
thing in
your
Boston.
vehicle inspected, and you have to pay for these stickers.
Yep.
And if they tell you like, oh, your brakes suck, you
fixed.
can't. They won't give you that sticker till you pay to get the brakes fixed.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's all kind of subjective to whoever is fixing your car, how much money they want to hose you for.
So they agree with you. They don't care for the snow.
Yeah, I don't either.
Have you all guys gone out and seen like he mentioned manatees? Have you ever seen manatees in the wild?
Not since I was a kid, and I can't remember if it was Blue Springs where they have the manatees. Oh,
yeah, it's Blue Springs.
I've been there. It's
and I
cool.
believe this is the time we're going to be starting here into the season. It's best to see them.
Yes,
I think now through January or February is the best time to see them. We follow an account called Get Up and Go Kayaking, I think.
I do too, I think.
And they have clear bottom boat tours that I would really love.
Well, not the boat tours. I've kayaked in a clear kayak.
Yeah, kayak tour. Not a boat, but
same thing.
To me, a boat, because I don't know about these outdoor things. But they also have a nighttime one where they have, you see the bioluminescence.
No way, Jose, because there are gators out there.
Oh.
There's gators there.
There are, but if it's in the dark, then you won't see it. I'll tell you this.
However it ends, YOLO.
Oh, no way.
I just worry more about getting bitten by bugs, like.
During the daylight, we were kayaking, and I hit, like, the side, and I looked up, like, it's from me to you, and there was a baby gator just, like, staring me in the face. And we were like, go.
He was, like, on a log or something, or?
Yeah, it was just, like, on the edge right there, like, staring at us.
Like, on the bank.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Thompsons, thank you so much for calling in. We loved all your points. Too, that this is a good spot to live because you are, like, you're close to 1 hour drive to Tampa. Either way to the beach, the Kennedy Space Center.
We have choices. What's your?
It's an awesome spot.
What's your favorite coast? The Gulf or the East?
I really like the Gulf.
Okay.
I used to be like New Smyrna was my favorite beach, and then the hurricanes happened, and they raised the parking on the beach to $20. That made me really sad.
Okay.
It's so expensive. Used to be like $5. But I learned to love Clearwater and St. Pete area. Mm-hmm. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty.
Nice food scene too.
And that's where you get your sunsets.
Yeah, and the bonus, sunset.
I saw some Kip and Becky posted some photos of some snow on their IG.
Well, if you want to go follow Kip and Becky, they actually kind of do their own influencing now around
all their little adventures.
Their adventures in Missouri, and I'm sure here too. But right now they're in Missouri, so it's at Epic Thompson Life, and you can go see what Kip and Becky are up to. So thanks again, guys, for calling in. So we have another call.
Hi, Brian and Stephanie and Rosie. It's Sarah calling from Eat Drink Orlando. So I am a self-proclaimed carbivore. I love all things pasta.
Yes.
So I would like to hear you guys talk about what is your favorite Italian spots and your favorite dishes. I have like my 3 or 4 go-to spots, but I'm always on the prowl for some real good, authentic, like Italian food. So I would love to hear you guys talk about that.
Okay, so
carbivore.
That's the first part of her call, and we'll get to the second part later. So in a second. So favorite Italian.
I have 2.
Okay.
So I really love Stasio's Deli.
Okay.
For their meatball sub, and I think it's the Stasio, the sub that's got like 3 meats in it.
I kind of want that.
It's so good.
That's the place that we want to go to, right?
We should go soon.
I think that's a place that Lisa actually suggested to us.
It's the butcher, right? It's the Italian butcher.
It's kind of like
when
a
we
deli.
had Lisa from The Shitty Beautiful, I think she had said that was one of her favorite spots.
It's really good. I haven't been in a while, so we should, go soon. But I like Prado. I'm familiar most with Prado because I like how they use local ingredients and it's all made from scratch. I have two favorite dishes again. I can never have one thing that I like. It's got to be like two. I like their mustard spaghettini, and the last time I was there, they had truffle gnocchi, potato gnocchi, and it was.
Ooh. Oh, you know what Trader Joe's has?
What?
They have a dessert gnocchi, and it's chocolate.
I saw that
filled,
today on Instagram.
Yeah.
Chocolate filled pasta.
Chocolate filled gnocchis.
I'm interested to see what the gnocchi is.
It's meant to be a dessert.
Potato.
I
love Trader Joe's, but sometimes they take things and name it and make it into something.
I mean, it's meant to be a dessert, but anyway.
Sorry,
those
Sarah.
Cheese
balls were good from Trader Joe's.
So, what'd you say?
The cheese balls.
Oh my gosh,
those
we had
so
cheese
good.
balls. We had cheese balls because I put out a spread before we started recording, and the cheese balls from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, those were good.
Really good. They're too fancy for Steph.
I ate one ball and I thought,
at least you
that's
tried
some
it.
Funky cheese.
Funky cheese.
And
that's
I
my
knew
favorite kind
that's
of
probably you
cheese.
didn't tell me there was funky cheese in there because you wanted me to just pound them and say, oh, they're so good. And then so you could say, oh, that's goat cheese.
I thought you would like. After tasting, I thought you might like it because it wasn't too intense.
No, I think it's pretty good. It's well balanced.
It's well balanced.
More balls for you.
More balls for me. All right, Stephanie.
I'm a fan of Mia's. I know. I haven't been for a while. They opened up.
Have you been to Mia's?
Probably in the summer. I think they opened up at the beginning of the summer.
They.
I hit it hard 2 or 3 times in like a month, and then I just haven't been back. But God, they have some really, really good stuff there.
People rave about the bread.
That's on our list to try, and we haven't had it yet. We really want to go for like a in the evening. They have a really nice happy hour, so we should go sometime.
But they make their pastas from scratch as well, so that's good. My favorite, I don't really have a favorite Italian place. I want to go to Prado, but I haven't been to Prado yet.
The best way to go to Prado is happy hour. It's a good intro.
Yeah. I really like Pizza Ponte.
A Pizza Ponte.
I like the vibe in there.
That's how you have to say it if you're
Their
going to
pizza
say
looks
it.
really good.
Yeah. Because they have Sicilian slices. They have the, flat, round slices. There's an Italian place that you really like over next to La Boucherie.
Oh, yes. It's called Fresca Italiana. And it's over on Sand Lake, Turkey Lake, near the Fitness CF Plaza.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, that place is
I've been there,
really
but a
good.
long time ago.
It's like you wouldn't find it. It's kind of a hole in the wall. It's big. They have a big dining room, but it's in a strip mall. And boy, their food is really good. And they have sometimes in the evening they have like saxophone players.
I've been there when they've had the saxophone player.
Yeah,
I don't remember
really
my meal
nice.
though.
You might need a reservation for that one because the couple times I've been, it was very crowded.
I like Enzo's Hideaway as well. I don't know if you've. It's at Disney Springs.
I haven't been there yet.
It's kind of like quote unquote underground, and it's kind of hidden. Hence, it's called Enzo's Hideaway. But the vibe in there is it's nice. It's kind of 1920s, 1930s vibe, and the bar is really beautiful. I like the vibe in there better than the Edison.
Okay.
The Edison to me, the Edison doesn't impress me much.
Really?
It's okay. The food's not that great there.
Okay. If that's the place with the bacon, they hang the bacon. Okay.
Now, when I first had that bacon, it was really good. But when I went back on a return visit, it wasn't as good.
They were slacking.
So, but Enzo's Hideaway is good, and it's Italian food there. Okay. So Sarah has continues. She has a second part of her call-in.
And then just some topics that I'd love to hear about is I only started my Instagram about 6.5, 7 months ago. And what are your tips, tricks to engaging with others? I was finally invited to my first media event for Hungry Pants, which was awesome. And I just really want to get more involved with the community and grow this Instagram. So anything that you guys can recommend, that would be great. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks. Bye.
So as far as I never did it for like an Instagram standpoint, but when I wanted to be more like connected with the community, I'd go to like the flea market, like the indoor flea and all of that, and if there was a product that I love, I really like to introduce myself to the owners of the business and say, oh my god, I love your product, and like chat it up with them just to kind of build a connection and stuff like that. But as far as like an Instagram engaging, I really like commenting back and like engaging that way with my followers and like in the DMs and stuff, if it's not creepy. If it's normal. But yeah,
sounds like you've had experience.
Yeah, it's called block. But yeah, I think communicating with your followers is a huge thing. It like builds like this like small internet relationship that goes a long way. I'm
just a fan of being authentic.
That
like
too.
I'm not gonna do anything that I don't feel like. If I comment something that I like out on your photo, I really do like it. I'm not gonna comment on anything that I don't like. And I'm not going to engage with anyone that I don't like. You know, I want to be authentic because at the end of the day, I mean, I think being authentic to yourself is what is going to build you the best audience for whatever it is you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and if you're building, let's say, for Sarah's question, if you're building an Instagram, it's really about being consistent.
Yeah.
You need to have a schedule, and then within that schedule, you also need to set aside time to engage with the people that are following you, the people that you follow, and have that engagement.
Well,
and what?
No, go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, I was going to say the most important thing about it is you have to have fun with it. If you're not having fun, then it's not worth it.
Like for us, we're trying to build an audience of people who like truly are interested in Orlando. So that's kind of why ours has been kind of a slow and grow. Because we do want to capture people that actually care about the things that we're posting. And what we're posting about is Orlando, the dailies. Like, we're not just trying to get followers, like, people who like Disney, people who, like, don't even live here or don't care about what goes on here, you know, so... I think that goes with being authentic.
I would have to say, Sarah, too, that slow growth is...
The best growth.
The best growth.
Yeah.
So, you know... You might be discouraged by somebody else growing faster than you, but don't let that discourage you because they have nothing to do with the energy that you're putting off in terms of what you're providing to the community. So, yeah, that's it. I just be kind.
Be kind and be true to yourself.
Right.
Yeah. Don't compare.
So thanks for the call in, Sarah. We appreciate it. And thank you guys for listening today, and thanks for Rosie for coming in.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys
for
having me.
On a school night.
Yeah, it's not my norm.
What did you say, Rosie?
I said it's not my norm.
And remember, you guys can continue to keep in touch with us. You can follow us on Instagram, of course, but now we really like you to call in and leave us a voicemail. That number is 407-603-6994, and your voicemail could be on the podcast, just like Kip, Becky's, and Sarah's were.
Yeah.
So
you could be an Orlando star.
So, Rosie, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Rosie Roaming Orlando, as well as Facebook. Yeah, find me, say hi.
And the blog is...
Oh, yes. The blog is www.rosieroamingorlando.com.
And usually we would play a little game with you called Your Favorite in Orlando, but I think in this choice you're going to have to go to her Instagram, and you can find out for yourself all those answers.
I like that.
She posts all the time her favorite cookies, spots to eat, drink.
How are you doing with Gideon's? Did you complete your...
She has a checklist.
Oh, gosh, no. I still have, like, 6 months to go. And if he throws in, like, surprise cookies, like, if he creates, like, a limited edition, like, one-day cookie, yeah.
Okay.
So, we'll see. I have, like, 6 more cookies. I have, like, a Tupperware of chunks in my freezer for, like, when I want one. It's great.
You know what I want on QVC? The Mrs. Printables apples. I really want them, but they're expensive, and I know I won't eat them all.
The caramel apples.
They're like these big, juicy apples that are dipped in caramel or chocolate, sprinkled in different candy mixes.
I could make that for you.
You can make it.
They look so good, but it's like the apple is like
massive.
So big, and then when they break it, it just
snaps.
It gives you that nice crisp snap.
Oh, interesting.
It can be hard to find a good apple.
Yeah.
It is hard.
It's very hard to find a good apple.
All right.
In more ways than
In
one.
general, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks again, Rosie.
Thank
I'm
you
sure you'll be
guys.
back on as a
I
guest
hope so.
host for sure.
I look forward to it.
And until next time,
Bye.
Come on, Rosie.
Bye.
See you guys. Follow us on Instagram at Orlando Out of Context. Instagram is where you can connect and interact with us, as well as see photos and videos related to this week's episode.
Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and iHeartRadio.
Have you been to Anna Maria?
No.
Oh, Anna Maria is beautiful. Have you been to Anna Maria? Yeah, Steph?
I don't think so, no.
It's beautiful.
Remind me, is that up?
It's just south of St. Pete.
No, haven't been there.
But it's not like you can't just like drive straight down there. It's kind of there's like
A curve.
there's like there's water and you have to like drive kind of around. So it's not like it's not like a straight shot from
Is there
St.
a submarine to get over there?
Shut up.
The what do you call those? The aqueducts? You have to go down, under, to the left, straight, to the right.
Or you could just take a boat. Swim, okay? You can actually see St. Pete from Anna Maria.
What?
But it's like